Yeah, and so the cool thing here is that you don't have to know any code necessarily to do this. Or you don't even have to know how to use like Squarespace tools to modify the content or go in there. You can just talk to it like you would talk to a coworker or a chatbot.
Do you want to try one that's a little more challenging?
Yeah, let's do it. Hi, this is Scott. I'm the CEO of Olio Apps, and this is the Code and Cognition podcast. And today we are going to talk a little bit about our new website and basically the workflow for how we applied the new design, which was a little different this time in that we used AI tools, as are all the rage, to help us do the design. And specifically, we used the tool Devin, which is kind of like an AI engineer that you can talk to. And so I have with me Monica.
I'm Monica, and I am the director of project delivery for Olio Apps, and I also work on marketing things and have been involved in rebranding and kind of redesigning and refreshing our website.
Devin is this AI engineering tool that you can hook up if you have a code repository. So if you have something in GitHub, which is like where most engineers store their code and work on it, you can hook up Devin to that and you can then talk to Devin using like a website chat interface or through GitHub using the method that we use for iterating on code and kind of discussing changes, which are called pull requests. So you can ask Devin to do something and then it will try to do that thing and create a pull request for you to then review before you accept it back into your main code repository. And so that's where we already had our website. Our website is written in Next.js, which is a like a React framework that is pretty popular these days. And we had a design firm that we worked together with on some of our customer projects, Horrible Design, who are not horrible at all, by the way, but they're a fan of ironic names. And normally they do product design, and we were very lucky to get a little bit of their time to help us with our website redesign, which is really helpful and awesome. We told them our website's already in Next.js, and they are designers, and they made their designs in Figma, like most designers do these days. But then they used Claude Code and some other tools to convert their Figma designs into a Next.js code base, which is really handy for us because then we were able to take that Next.js code base plus these AI dev tools like Devin, and Devin was able to help us convert the new design and apply it to our existing website without having to just like completely change platforms or change paradigms. We just had the new design in Next.js and the old design is in Next.js, and that's kind of the background here. Monica, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure. So prior to this, I had built a couple of websites in prior companies that I was involved in and had done like the first one that I did, I had to hire developers to do. That was about 10 years ago. And that was expensive and, an iterative process, let's say, that took months. The next website that I did more recently, a few years ago, I used Squarespace to do it. So, Squarespace has blocks and it's like a WYSIWYG kind of thing. What you see is what you get, and you can draw squares and put text in things, but you're kind of limited to their fonts and their design templates and whatnot. So that felt a little bit more like making a PowerPoint deck, I guess, than actually building a really modern, highly designed site like Horrible had created for us. So once we had the Horrible site that they created from Figma, and Scott, you put it into our repo, I was able to extend it. So they did the design for, like about 6 or 8 pages of ours. And they also gave us a design, what would you call it? Like a design framework?
Like a style guide or
Yeah,
design system?
they gave us a design system. So it was like a style guide plus some instructions on how to do stuff design wise.
Mhm.
Like when you have images, make sure they're, 2 by 1 or whatever it was. Yeah, so all I needed to do to add pages or to modify the pages because Horrible Design, they started the design before we completed the copy. for the site. They sort of took like draft one of the copy and designed it up with that, but we had come up with several changes. So I guess the first thing I did was I had to just make copy changes to what they had created. Like they had some placeholder case studies and stuff in there. And so that was a matter of just talking to Devin and saying what I wanted to do and pointing it to both the horrible design system and then, telling it to change the copy, that kind of thing. And then with new pages, I would say make this page look like this page.
Um, all right. Well, before we keep going and talking more, can you maybe show and tell a little bit? I think we have like some small changes teed up that we can try.
Oh yeah, sure. All right. So there's just something that's been bugging me for a while, but I haven't done. You notice, so this is our team page. So this is the olioapps.com team page. And this picture, I had much shorter hair, so I want to change my image um, to be a more current photo. So to do that, to prep for that, what I learned in photos, I tried a few different ways of getting images that the repo didn't know about into the repo. And not being a coder, I don't know about having to go look at the trees and stuff and put it there. So I would just do kind of like a little bit of a hack, and that I would create a folder on Google Drive. Um, by the way, I think I tried two or three other ways of getting images into Devin, and Devin actually gave me the advice because I noticed it would go and like try some stuff and it would try to extract images and then it would spin off for a long time. And it just seemed to be taking a lot of cycles. And at one point, I think it advised me to create a Google folder. So I didn't come up with this idea on my own. It told me to do this. So anyway, I have this folder and you notice here on the sharing, you have to make this accessible with anyone with the link so that Devin can actually see this folder. So what I'll do is copy this and then I'm going to go into Devin and we're going to, it just basically says, what do you want to get done? There's two repositories here. This is the horrible Next.js site and this is the Olio OS. This is the live sites repo. So, where am I? Here I'm on the Olio, and I basically can just say, change the photo of Monica on the /team page in the, and it's in, I've got two repos, so I'm going to tell it which repo in the Next.js Olio apps to be the photo in this Google Drive folder, and then copy that in. And I think we should be good with that. Very simple change, and we'll see what it does. I just say go. And then this is going to do a pull request, and then we'll merge it back in when we're ready.
Yeah, and so the cool thing here is that you don't have to know any code necessarily to do this. Or you don't even have to know how to use like Squarespace tools to modify the content or go in there. You can just talk to it like you would talk to a coworker or a chatbot.
Do you want to try one that's a little more challenging?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So one of the things that's kind of on the to-do list is we've got these case studies, and this is the horrible site, and you can see they've this treatment here at the above the fold. It's got an image and then some text over here and logos on the left. And on our site, we've got an image and then the logos are on top and copy is on top of the image. So at the top of the bumped up, let's go see what that thing is. I'm going to give it this as the page name. So I don't need to give it the whole site. It's smart enough to figure that out. The top of the case studies bumped up page in the, actually, I'm going to say just make the top of the case studies page in the, oops, I guess I have to do at this repo look like the top of the same page? Horrible Olio site repo. I don't want it to go too far down. So what is the top? So I have to kind of like think
So
of,
it's just, maybe it's just be like the title, the subtitle, and the image, and maybe be specific about what you want changed,
right,
or
maybe
like,
logos and I want to say it's the hero image, but I honestly don't know that. And the
yeah,
image,
let's call it that.
hero image.
Sure.
I think that's what I've used before.
You
Okay,
could say like in the current in our current page, it's in the background centered, and we'd like it to look like it is in the horrible site where the image is now on the right and the text and logos are on the left.
okay.
Something like that. And we have no idea if this is going to work, but it'll get us start.
The logos and copy on the left and the image, hero image on the right. I'm going to say match the design in the, I'll match the design as best as possible, as match the design. That'll be good. You don't have to be super polite to these things. That's one thing when I first started doing this, I was like super precise and also very polite, saying please and thank you a lot. And I realized this was just wasted words because it doesn't really care if I'm nice to it. Okay, or flowery. I'm gonna say go. And meanwhile, while that's running, we could go look at GitHub. GitHub here. Let's look at our pull requests. Here's one for update Monica's team photo. And it looks like it's done. So I can click this and this is the Netlify one. Yeah, I have to make sure about that. For the team page. It's kind of scary. Oh, there it is. Look, it did it pretty well.
Hey, very nice.
I like it. I have gray long hair now, just like in real life.
Cool. So that's a great example of something small that you can just have the AI do.
Right. And so just from a workflow perspective, what I would do now is
Yeah. So how would we get that live on because that's not actually live on our site, right?
that's not live
That's on
on
a
our site,
preview.
right? So I would go back to this PR pull request in GitHub, and I would basically copy this URL, and I would add Scott as a reviewer because he's my developer leader. So I'm going to request Scott to review it. Oh, there you are. So for the most part, too, you would do this, I think, by I would Slack you this link and say, will you please review this? And then you would review it and merge it. Is that right?
Yeah. And that's what I'm going to go do.
Oh, cool.
So if you scroll down to the bottom of this, just to show people, so we won't show my screen just to keep it simple, but that merge pull request button, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually go, there's a, there's a method of approving it. Let me do that. So just, I'm going to hit approve. I've hit approve. Now it should change on yours. There it goes.
Changes approved.
Because I just approved it. So now it updated. Now, Monica, you can merge it.
I just say merge, yeah.
Hmm.
This is not a step that I would typically do. You would do this, but for yeah, sake of screen sharing.
Yeah, once it's approved, anyone can do it. Or yeah, typically I'll just review it and merge it right there. But now it'll be live on our main site in a couple minutes.
Cool. Let's go back and check on Devin, see what it's doing. This change is going to take longer, obviously. You can see all that it's doing.
Yeah. It looks like it's already made a change and it's just building it to check to see if it worked. So yeah, in a couple more minutes, it'll like notify us that there's a pull request ready for review. And I think you can leave, if you leave Devin open in a tab and you have notifications on, it will ping you like, hey, this thing's now ready for you to look at.
Okay, I didn't honestly use that feature. What I would typically do is because I have another job besides website developer,
Yes.
I would kind of get kick off a change and then go to a meeting or do something else, and then just kind of get these things done throughout the day.
Yeah. Well, it's also cool you can kick off multiple changes.
That's for you speedy developers that can handle that much in your brain at a time.
That's right. Well, we talked a little bit about this, but maybe could you give some tips or suggestions on, how to get good results from AI or a tool like this?
Yeah, well, I think it was really smart the way that Horrible set it up, right? So that they gave us that design system. And maybe that's something we could share.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so it might be interesting to see the framework that we started with. So Horrible created two things for us. The first one is more pretty to look at. This is the design system. So these are the colors to use with the color codes. Yeah, so this was what Horrible created for us, and it's talking about what fonts to use and what colors to use and how to make links look and buttons and things like that.
Yeah. So you passed this along to Devin when you had to make big changes.
Right. So at least in the beginning, when I was doing newer pages, especially, or kind of like getting started, I would always point things to this, and then I would also point it to this. And this is like a almost like a product requirements document of telling the AI what to do and what not to do, when to create new components, things like that. And there's some good information in here for the human as well, like don't make if the card is, 3 inches by 3 inches and you have more copy that can go in this card, edit down your copy and make it fit, because otherwise it's going to look like you stuffed an elephant into a shoebox or something like that. Which for sure, they were all about keep the website clean and make the copy readable. Very skimmable copy, which I sometimes struggle with being concise like that. Yeah, so that was that. All right, let's see. It looks like we have a preview. Let's go. This is always the moment of truth. Oh, it did pretty good.
So yeah.
Wow.
Wow. We're on our way. Get the new case study design implemented.
Right. Cool.
So this is an example where like sometimes we're pleasantly surprised and it does it right the first time. Sometimes it doesn't get it right the first time. We have to give it some more hints.
Mhm.
Sometimes it doesn't get it right ever, and like Monica has to give it to me, and I have to fix it.
This is our new preview, and then this is this one. So what's different? I can see there's a difference. A case study in AI assisted development. The font sizes are a little bit different, maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, there's still a little bit of tweaking to do if we to get it to get it exact.
Yeah. But if that were the case, like let's say I wanted to increase the font size and I could just go back to the PR and put a comment. I don't have to even go back to Devin. I can just, you know, increase font size by 2 points or whatever. I would research this before I would do it, but then I would just say comment, and Devin's going to come here and grab this and it's going to run with it, just like if I had gone to
Yeah.
it.
What I would do there is like say the subtitle where it's this text yada yada yada
Oh, yeah,
looks different on horrible versus ours. Make it look like the horrible one,
right.
or like in that it's seems to be slightly bigger on the horrible one. So just to give it a little bit more direction. Sometimes you don't need to give it more direction. Sometimes it just works. But oh yeah, could you show like so sometimes it just thinks it did it and it didn't do it. Like you had a problem with the logos.
Oh, Sure. Yeah, I can share the logos. Yeah, so on our homepage, let me go to our site. This is our live site. And if I go to the homepage, so one of the early things I did was, Horrible did this with a few of our client logos, but there was one that was missing. I think it was the listen one, and I wanted to add it. And I think I knew the logo was in the repo, this one here. And it said that it added it, but it just visually just wasn't there. And so I tried it 3 or 4 times, correcting it. You're telling me it's there, it's not there, can you please add it? And, yeah, it never quite worked, so I gave that to Scott to work on. And what did you do, Scott?
It's been a while, so I don't remember exactly what I did now, but uh, I'm actually, a coder from before AI days, so I was probably just got in there and made it work, or prompted it a different way and got the AI to do it. I don't remember now. Another thing I remember was a sticky thing though was the header navigation on the top navigation bar. This thing is a little fancier than what we used to have, and first time we asked Devin to do it, it didn't get that exactly right. So I had to go in there and do a little bit more deeper dive on it. But I did use like AI dev tools like Claude Code to help me finish that and get that looking just right.
Yeah, it was great to have you to kind of backstop, myself and Emily as we were doing this. We didn't have to be stuck for hours and hours. We just did what we could, and the hard stuff we gave to Scott, and that seemed to work really well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, another thing I remember is that Horrible Design was not quite done with the design, but we wanted to get going on getting the site converted because they already had some of the pages done, didn't have other pages done. So we were kind of able to just start applying the new design to the pages that were done using the AI workflows like with Devin, and that was really handy. And so when the other pages did get completed, we weren't waiting for the entire design to be handed over to us before we got going.
Yeah, for sure.
What else?
I think that's good for show and tell.
I guess other things is like you can do it at any time of the day or a day of the week. Um, and like if you're asking a person to do something like a coworker, an employee, you might have to convince them or sell them on the idea. But what AI is just going to happily, you know, take a stab at it. So sometimes that's good, and also it can be good for brainstorming. Also, you get really good results if you know exactly what you want and you can specify them exactly. But if you don't know exactly what you want, sometimes you can get a good result by being less specific and being open to surprise, or you just don't know what you want yet. You need to have something that's not a blank screen so that you can react to it and say, no, it's not that, but we're not completely off base. It's like that, but change it to this, this, and this. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so this page isn't live on our site yet, but we're doing like a AI powered features page, and I knew that I wanted like the 5-step process like we have on our regular build page. I knew I wanted that image there, but I didn't know I didn't want to like think about copy in that moment. So just put some placeholder stuff there. And it like read the copy and had some memory of like what we do and awareness of the context. And it like wrote the copy for me. And it did like an amazing job, maybe better than I could have done, if I'd thought about it for an hour. So that was a real happy accident. I had to change some things, a few things, but it was a good sort of thinking partner
specifically for the 5-step process.
for that 5-step process. Yeah, it introduced like because there really was only 4 steps instead of five, so it like dreamed up a step called honesty, which was like telling clients, what we really think as opposed to just saying yes all the time to your earlier
Oh,
point.
yes. Yes. It's the advantage of humans. We'll actually tell you what we think.
Right. Yes, but it put that as the third step, and I think I changed it to like the second step or something. Like after we like do the discovery, then we'll be honest with you about what's buildable and useful and things like that. So,
Yeah.
but I would have never have thought to put honesty in as copy. And then it kind of wrote the other steps of the copy and it did a pretty good job at it too.
It kind of sussed out what the steps would be based on the rest of the context and turned out to be not too far off.
Right. Yeah. So I played around with like doing lorem ipsum, but in this case I didn't do that. I just said make placeholder copy and it just made a pretty good copy.
Cool.
That was a happy accident.
All right. Sounds good. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.